All right, thanks for joining us. Today we're going to make a brisket at home. This is a big 13-pound brisket. Got it from Sam's Club, Costco, one of the other BJ's, something like that. And first we're going to start out here by cutting off all the excess fat. It's going to be fat on both sides. Just to save time for the video, I cut out the boring parts. And you can see me trimming and kind of shaping the brisket. You want it to be kind of aerodynamic, like it's going in a wind tunnel, because it is going in a wind tunnel full of smoke. But physics lessons aside, getting rid of all the hard fat here, because the hard fat, it really doesn't marbleize, it doesn't render, and you don't want to eat it. So cut that out, and I go down here and get this side of that cut so it's nice and fresh, get some of the fat off, and then I'll cut it into like a sort of semicircle corner, and that just helps keep the ends from drying out. And here we're using a gravity charcoal smoker from Masterbuilt, and it's got an app. And make sure your Wi-Fi password is up to date and firmware is up to date if you have a grill like this, otherwise it won't work. So you should be aware of that. I like to put yellow mustard right on the brisket, and that's what a lot of people do. Honestly, I've not done much else other than mustard. That's just my go-to. It's a really good binder, makes good bark, it's easy and cheap, and most people like mustard. So even if they don't like mustard, it doesn't really have a mustard taste, more just like a barbecue taste. Here we're putting on some SPG from Wild Hogs beef tips. You can find him in Walmart. He's barbecue done right. So I got his salt and pepper because they're grained out larger. And we put it on the smoker, and I'm gonna spray it with apple cider vinegar every hour for 6 hours, and that's at 225 degrees for 6 hours. Every hour you spray it with either apple cider vinegar or beef broth. After 6 hours, you wrap it up, drop the temp down to 210, and you wrap it up in butcher paper, and you leave it in there for another 6 hours at 210. So you want to start early in the day. This is like 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. right now. I'm pulling it off and put it inside a cooler. I'm going to flip it so all the rendered fat actually bastes it. And then I've got it in this cooler, and I'm going to go take a shower, get the smoke off me so my wife doesn't hate me in bed. And then I'm going to wake up, and this is a cold brisket here that's already done. It's sitting in the thermos thing. So here I'm about to start cutting it, and the tip here is usually really dry because it doesn't have as much fat. It's thinner, so it usually cooks out faster. Those first couple pieces you might not want them, but they're tender. And remember, this is not hot right now, this is cold, so I like to slice it cold, and then when it's ready to eat, you can see it's still rendered at room temperature. But when you're ready to eat, I like to heat up the oven or toaster oven to like 170 and just heat up the pieces in there and let them get just enough to be warm, but not enough to dry it out. And we also like to use some barbecue sauce, stuff that's more spicy and tangy. Maybe you don't really need smoky because the brisket's real smoky. And you can make a good sauce out of like, ketchup, brown sugar, vinegar, salt and pepper, cumin, paprika, stuff like that. So I'm not the best brisket slicer in the world, but here's my brisket slicing. And I stack it up and eat a little piece there. So now I'm going to wrap up slicing it. And there are different parts. The center of it and the big slices from the center of it, they've got a layer of fat in between two different cuts of meat. And that's really what gives the shape of the brisket. It helps it stay nice and moist and fatty. And that's all delicious goodness. So you can also take the extra fat that's rendered and make tallow out of it. And then you can use the tallow to cook stuff with. And you can also, put it on the dry pieces or stop halfway through. You can baste it with the tallow, or you can just use it to cook other stuff. I don't really collect it personally because there's so many sources of grass-fed beef tallow online and that you can get. So here we go, stacking it up. 13 pounds sliced, came out to about 9.5, 10 pounds. Once it was all rendered out and cooked, it's nice and oily and delicious and fat. Like and subscribe.